talk about some alternatives to college, understand why college is important, hear from some current college students, learn how to get help to get to college, and how we can help. So first of all, I thought it would be great to start off with a question of what does college mean to you? So if everybody could please post like either in the chat or you can unmute yourself and just say what college means to you. That would be great. Thank you. Looks like we have a couple of people responding. Emily says hard work and dedication. Jesse says opportunity. Paula says opportunity to learn new things and network. Furthering education and helping me to reach my career goals. Your career and your future. Yeah, absolutely. All good things, and every single person has a different reason why they want to go to college and what college means to them, but I think it's very important to understand what college means to you. So thank you guys for sharing that. So the first thing I wanted to talk about is how college is different from high school. I'm sure you guys have all heard rumors that college is really hard and it's really stressful. The thing with college is college has a lot less structure. So you know when your classes are, and you're ultimately the one that sets your class schedule, but everything else is up to you. So whether you have work or clubs and activities or an internship, something like that, you are ultimately the one who has to make things happen for you. And you have a lot of independence and you have to hold yourself accountable. It's also a more professional environment, and you learn very quickly that actions have consequences. Next is what college is versus what college isn't. So, college is an opportunity for you to understand what you're interested in. You get to talk about a lot of in depth topics in all of your classes with professors, with students who may have different viewpoints than you. It's an opportunity for you to form your worldview and ultimately learn more about what you're interested in. It isn't job training. Um, you might want to go party or things like that. Um, yes, you can definitely do that. There are options for that. But that's not everything that college is about. And unfortunately, it does not guarantee a job. I'm going to go ahead and play this quick video of this woman who talks about how to make hard decisions. Um, if you're wondering, how do I know if college is right for me? Maybe this video will give you some insight. Okay, let me see here. There are many activities I've always wanted to try.
Thank you all for waiting. We are having a little bit of technical difficulties.
Oh, there we go.
For my 16th birthday, my parents told me I could choose any activity I wanted, within reason. My sister, who already turned 16, chose a long weekend in New York. I didn't really want to go anywhere. There are many activities I've always wanted to try, like riding in a hot air balloon, scuba diving, or learning how to shoot a gun. I made a list of pros and cons for each activity. Since I couldn't choose them all, I had to choose the one that interested me the most. I managed to narrow my list down to 2 activities, but I still couldn't decide. So it got me thinking, why is making a choice so difficult? Think of a difficult choice you've had to make recently. Why was that choice so hard to make? Was it the fear of others judging you? Was it getting trapped into overthinking? Was it that you hoped for endless possibilities and didn't want to commit to a single path? What is it that makes choosing so difficult? Honestly, I think the fear of being judged is one of the reasons why making a choice is so hard. You see, many people are afraid to do things because they fear what others might think. But when you forge your own path and step outside of others' expectations, you will most likely be judged. One of the reasons why I like watching live performances like sports, Broadway shows, or the symphony is that it reminds us of how important it is to follow our own dreams, despite what others might think. Fears are challenges that put us out of our comfort zones and are opportunities for growth. When I was 9, I started taking piano lessons. 6 months into my lessons, I learned that my teacher provides the musical entertainment for an Italian festival. I was told that I was going to play in that festival. This was my first experience playing in front of an audience. The very thought of that terrified me. What if I made a mistake? Everyone would be watching me. My grandparents would be there, my aunt, my cousin. What would they think? I kept worrying about what others might think of me if I made a mistake, that it made it hard to choose what song I would play. When I arrived at the festival, I learned that adults as well as children were going to play. Some of the adults were beginners, many of them just as nervous as me, if not more. And many of them made the same exact mistakes I was worried about making. This helped me realize that everyone is afraid of being judged. This realization made me a little less nervous, and I was able to perform my piece. Another fear that can make decision-making difficult is the fear of not being good enough. I almost fell victim to this kind of fear, and I almost didn't continue to pursue my love of music out of fear that it wouldn't be good enough for others. My second musical journey began when I entered Ecker Hill Middle School. I had to choose between playing an instrument or joining choir. I decided to do the violin because my grandpa also played. He gave me his violin, and I enjoyed my first year in orchestra. But as time went on, the music became more difficult, and I had to decide whether to work harder or quit. After talking about it with family and friends, I decided to take private violin lessons to continue to develop my skills so that I wouldn't be as afraid to play in front of others. Fear of judgment can lead you away from choosing to be your authentic self. Another reason why choosing can be difficult is that sometimes just thinking of all the potential options paralyzes you into not making any choice at all. It's easy to think of the option and go over and over and over it, confusing you about the right decision to make. Your brain starts saying, what if this happens? What if that happens? What if it doesn't work out? And what if I don't like it? Thoughts like these can make it hard to choose. It's easy to think of only the negative things that could happen and not the positive outcomes. I have never played basketball formally, but I've always wanted to try it. This year, I decided to attend the off-season training and practice with my high school basketball team. And ultimately, I decided to try out. I could have let overthinking this decision stop me from trying. Deciding to commit to a choice can also be hard. The thought of committing to one choice and one choice only and following that one path can be intimidating. However, if you decide to do nothing, the options that were once open before you might close. This is because a choice not to choose is a choice in itself. Waiting to choose until you see every possible option can lead to the most attractive option being unavailable by the time you make your choice. Many people fail to commit to one choice because they think that leaving all of the other options open will give them something to fall back on. But often this is not the case. When you choose not to choose, your options may evaporate and you'll be left with no choice at all. Rather than procrastinate in fear, weigh your options and act on the best one. Sleep on it, but just for one night. Researchers have found that sleeping on it can help you analyze your options and come to a conclusion. But dwelling on it for too long can mean that you aren't comfortable with any of your decisions, and you might need to start looking for alternatives. But don't leave it up to chance. Making the choice yourself, no matter how difficult it might be, allows you to become the author of your own life. Making decisions gives you the opportunity to choose the path you want to follow. Making a choice gives you the opportunity to create the path you want to follow. Even though it seems hard to overcome the inevitable problems that come with making choices, it is not impossible. The fear of people judging you is often based on your own perception. Most people are not contemplating your choices. They're too busy worrying about their own. And you wouldn't know if you'd be good at something unless you take the leap and try it first. Break through your mental paralysis and stop thinking about your choices and just go for it. Follow your gut and jump in with both feet. A bold decision can lead to a positive outcome. And if not, at least you found out what doesn't work for you. Rather than narrowing your options, committing to a path that you feel passionate about can open doors you didn't even know were there. Many times, we can't see all the best possibilities until we choose our own path. As for me, I ultimately chose to learn how to shoot a gun for my birthday, and I was happy with my choice. To quote William Arthur, opportunities are like sunrises. If you wait too long, you miss them. Thank you.
So based on this question, what are some of the reasons that you guys want to go to college? You can either share in the chat or unmute yourself. Chris says, get a higher form of education. Oh, in-person students. I know when I was thinking of going to college, I really wanted to explore what opportunities were out there for me and just really see like what I was interested in and what I could possibly do in the future. So it is a very big decision to make, but it's really important to understand why you would like to go. Prepare myself for life and get a better education for my career, get a job, gain more real world knowledge and awareness. Awesome. All good reasons, guys. So I think it's really important to also realize why people go to college. Some people might go to college because of the support networks that they find, whether that be their family, friends, professors, other professionals in the field, clubs, group members, or really any other students that they interact with on campus. Ultimately, it's people who help you achieve your personal professional goals. Another thing is independence, whether that be academic or personal, to prepare for post-college life. Career satisfaction, exploring interest, many subjects and many classes. You do have a lot of freedom. You are ultimately able to choose which major or minor you would like to pursue. There's also earning potential, so the amount of money that it could be possible for you to make, which is also something I would like to talk about here. So according to U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, high school dropouts make approximately $670 per week or $32,000 per year. Those with a high school diploma make about $827 a week or $39,000 per year. And then those with a bachelor's degree tend to make $1,500 a week or $73,000 per year on average. So as you can see, from high school dropouts to bachelor's degree, it is shown that there is almost double, more than double, the earning potential there, which is a very big motivator for some people. Some alternatives to college are trade schools and technical schools, where you can get in-depth knowledge and skills that you need for a specific career or a trade. You can get an apprenticeship, which is real job experience. So you learn, gain experience, and then you ultimately get paid for your job experience there. There's also a program called Year Up, which is a job training program. The 3 steps to their program are learn, intern, and land a job. And then if you so choose, you can go to the military. So those are just some of the alternatives to college. I know we're here to talk about fundamentals of college, but I just wanted to keep some additional options out there for you guys. So now that I know, okay, this is what college is and this is what college isn't, and I'm thinking about going to college, how can I get the most out of my college experience? So there are a ton of different answers. These are just a select few. If you choose, you can attend some hiring fairs where they have companies and recruiters on campus to offer you jobs and sometimes even interviews. Internships where you have short-term work experience. It is meaningful, it's work-related, and you really get to gain some new skills. You can attend office hours with your professors. So you basically schedule a time with your professor or teaching assistants for additional support in a specific subject or a specific class. You can do study abroad, which you can pursue your studies in a different country. You can do research, so you can document critical information with professors, other students, other companies. You can attend some clubs, so obviously a lot of people know what clubs are, but just people with common interest and working for a common purpose. And one thing that's nice about college is you can, if you don't find a club that you like, you can always create your own club. You can go to academic centers for additional help with specific classes or subjects. You can go to your career services office for resources for career planning, job searching, internships, and employment opportunities. And like I said, these are only a select few. College offers a ton of different opportunities. So now I would like to introduce our student panel. Hi, I'm Angelique. I'm a rising senior at GCU. We also have Emily, who is a rising senior at ASU. Tina is a rising sophomore at Swarthmore College. Nicole is a rising senior at ASU, and Paula is a senior at ASU. So now I think it would be great if you guys could ask what questions do you have about anything college related. And again, you can post it in the chat or you can unmute yourselves. I'll start with a question for each of you. Emily, you can start. Is college hard?
Hi, everyone. My name is Emily. Thank you so much, Angelique, for the introduction. To answer the question, yes, college can be very difficult in a variety of different ways. It's not always going to be the academic aspect to school. I think once you reach college, you're in a completely different point in your life. You're truly hitting this adulting peak in your life. There's so much more that goes into school than just kind of showing up, getting the work done, and leaving. There's so many other moving components in your life. So it can be difficult to find your way along all of that. So I think it's really important to stay organized and reach out for help when needed, especially with so many of you students being high achievers and thinking that you can conquer the world and take it all by yourself. Know that it's okay to ask for help, and it's probably going to be your greatest tool when managing through your college life.
Awesome, thank you for that. Tina, do you mind answering, how do you know what your college major was going to be?
Okay, a very good question. So I went into my freshman year thinking that I was just going to be studying environmental science, and that is something that I was interested in. But now that I'm going to my sophomore year, I'm thinking of changing my major to architecture. And so I guess I didn't really know what I wanted to do until I like took some classes or like started just like doing some like extracurricular things on the side, and just like finding out what I was interested in and seeing if I could apply that to my studies in college. And so really to know what your college major is going to be, you just need to like explore and like take some classes that pique your interest, or like find out like what you could do in your career that pertains to your passions, and then that could just be your major. Just like study what you're interested in.
Thank you. I will say when I first started school, I was a Bachelor of Science in Entrepreneurial Studies, and I ended up changing and I added a minor in marketing, and then I added a double major, so I was doing marketing and entrepreneurial studies. So it is really hard to kind of find something that you're like really, really interested in and just stick with it. That's the nice thing about college is there's a lot of flexibility. If you choose something that you're interested in and then you're like, oh, I don't really like it, you can definitely change your major. But one thing that we do here at College Depot is we really help our students find something that they're really interested in prior to starting school. And that doesn't mean that you're not going to change your major because, like I said, I thought I knew what I wanted to do and I ended up changing my major. But just we offer those resources for you so that you feel comfortable and confident with your decision, and we do our best to help you find out what you're actually interested in. Nicole, can you answer, can it be difficult at times to manage work-life balance?
Yeah, totally. It can get difficult, I think. You definitely need to be able to figure out what works best for you. Some students find that maybe working in college isn't the best for them. Other students, like, that's not an option to even decide. Like, they know that they have to work. So then, like you mentioned earlier, college is really cool because it allows you to kind of build your own schedule around whatever else you have going on in your life. So if you do work in the afternoons or the mornings, you can also schedule your classes to be on the opposite time or like different days. And then that way you can work on the days that you don't have classes or work after classes or something like that. It's definitely hard to find that balance. Sometimes I find myself being overwhelmed sometimes. So you just have to be able to find that balance and find out what works best for you. For me, sometimes it's just taking a day off and then just kind of relaxing, doing something that I love, whether that's going to the movies or something like that, and just enjoying my day and then starting the next day fresh and continuing on with both work and school.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing. Paola, what is it like to live in the dorm?
Good question, Angelique. So I lived on, as an ASU student, I went to the Tempe campus and I lived at Adelphi Commons too. I feel kind of lucky with the ones that I got because even though they were the older ones, I definitely had a more spacious one. So it's difficult to say overall because I mean, it really depends on your roommates and it really depends on the room. Like a lot of it is just dependent on a lot of different moving factors. Personally, I had a great experience. I had some really great roommates as well as suite mates because there were two people to a room and we had a bathroom connecting. So that there were two other people. So it was kind of the four of us and we all got along really well. So that was honestly a huge plus and I had a lot of fun with that. It was a little bit difficult for me because I come from a very strict household. So when I was younger, I was always home, never really spent the night anywhere else, never really was able to go out with friends. So being able to live in the dorm was definitely a whole new world for me. I had a lot more freedom. I got to choose what I ate. I got to choose when I would hang out with somebody. And I will say that did lead me to make some bad decisions on procrastination. But hey, it'll happen as long as you bounce back from it. But it also allowed me to be able to attend a lot of different events on campus. So ASU has some really cool welcome events during a freshman's first week. So overall, it was a great experience. I had a lot of fun with my roommates. I had a lot of fun just having that autonomy and being able to make my own decisions and kind of create my own life for the first time. So it was a really great experience for me.
Thank you for sharing. If you guys have any other questions, you can definitely post them in the chat. But Emily, what kinds of things did you do to help relieve your stress?
Yes, stress can be a big one. And like Paula mentioned, sometimes procrastination is a little inevitable. We can always try, but let's be honest. How many of us, especially in high school, waited very last minute Sunday night to cram all of 2 weeks worth of work in? But the good thing is, I think going into college really helped kind of find my way in how I manage not only stress, but like my mental health overall, especially during the times that we've kind of all been going through. I think one of the best resources that helped me was for sure talking to people that you can genuinely trust. And sometimes that's not always going to be your family. Sometimes it's not always going to be your closest friends. But just being able to have that awareness of who do I really feel emotionally comfortable with? Who can I express my emotions to with any fears of judgment or critiques, just being as honest and real with yourself and with the people around you that you care about. Because sometimes, we might be carrying a ton of stress and we might distance ourselves or we might be acting different. And just know that the people in your life do really care about you. So it's important to build that strong connection of support in your life, as well as being very honest and transparent with your professors, the people that you work with. Sometimes people don't know what's going on in your personal life, especially with things like COVID. Health in general has become a very prevalent issue for us in society. So just being able to say, hey, I'm having an off day today. I might be experiencing a lot of anxiety. I'm feeling incredibly overwhelmed. I have a ton of stress. That helps the people that are helping work with you to be able to be a little bit more flexible. Because at the end of the day, if you can't take care of yourself, your mental health, your physical health, and well being, then you won't be successful in school. You can try to take on every project in the world, but at the end of the day, if you're not feeling well, then nothing else is going to end up feeling like it's going to work out. And another thing is using your school campus as a resource can be incredibly helpful. They have mental health and counseling services, and there's no shame in it at all. So I know it can be very taboo, but I have reached out for services, and it just lifts such a great weight, and you leave feeling just lighter and like you have a little bit more headspace, things are quieter, and you can start taking little steps to feel better and just be more productive in the way that you want to. And I think Nicole said it, it's important to find things that you like. It's okay to take a break. You can come back to your homework. It's not going to be the end of the day or the world if, you're just like, I'm going to go watch a movie. I'm going to go binge my favorite Netflix show. So do what makes you happy and you'll be good.
Thank you for that. One of the resources that might be available is clubs to help you de-stress a little bit. Tina, do you mind explaining like if you're involved in any clubs on campus, and if so, like which ones? How did you find them?
Yeah, so my school at the beginning of like every semester, they will hold a clubs fair. And so clubs will have like stands and you could just go up and talk to whoever's like representing the club. And they will have like a sheet that you could just sign up on and then they can forward you like emails for like the clubs. And so that is one way to find out what clubs are available at your school. Another way is that in like certain buildings there probably will be like a bunch of posters like advertising clubs, and so that is another way to find out what clubs are available. For me, at my school, I am in skate club, which is like a skateboarding club. I am in chess club and like shogi, which is like a Japanese version of chess. There are also many other clubs that I signed up for, and I'm gonna be honest, I didn't really go to most of their meetings, but just like signing up for clubs and seeing like what you might be interested in is just like a great way to put yourself out there.
Awesome. Thank you. Nicole, do you mind talking about how, like, what does like finding your major kind of look like, or what did that look like for you?
Sure thing. Personally, I struggled a lot in high school to kind of decide what I wanted to study. I thought about what I like, things that I thought would like help me out in the future and stuff like that. Um, and it took me like my entire senior year to finally like decide that I wanted to be go into business, and I'm a digital marketing major. And I was in DECA in high school, which is a business type club. And I realized that I was absolutely passionate about that. I had so much fun doing it. I felt like I was really good at the club. And I thought about like how that would reflect if I were to study that and then make that into my career as an adult. And I'm an incoming senior, and I never felt the want to necessarily change my major. So I really find that it's something that I really still like and I'm passionate about. What I did learn, however, is that I also grew a big love for film. And it's always been like, like everybody likes movies type thing. But I realized that, like it is something that I am passionate about as well. It's something that I love. I don't necessarily want to like stop studying marketing, and I don't find myself wanting to like double major in it either. So I decided that I wanted to make a minor out of it. And so I'm added a film and media studies minor. And they're pretty unrelated. But it's something that it's two different things that I really love and care about and want to like spend time learning and dedicating time into. So even though they're not necessarily like completely together, there's something that I love and I totally enjoy taking classes for.
Thank you for sharing. Paula, do you mind talking about how you deal with pressure from others, whether it be family or friends, to just do well or make a certain decision?
Yes. Okay. I'm actually really happy to answer this one because this hits really close to home. Porter, what grade are you in, if you don't mind me asking? And the reason I ask is because all throughout high school, I also struggled with that a lot. My parents did put a lot of pressure on me to do good, to just try my best. And sometimes it kind of feels like maybe your best isn't what needs to be done, and it is a lot of pressure for you. So the main way that I deal with it was honestly, I had a teacher who really helped me through it. She reminded me often that this is my life that I'm doing. And as long as I'm giving 100% of my effort every day, whether that looks like 20% on one day or it looks like 110% on another day, it's the best that I could give in that day. And that was one of the best pieces of advice that I got from her. It was just kind of realize where you're at mentally, physically, emotionally, and all those different aspects and how much you can give without overexerting yourself, because it's kind of like that airplane metaphor that a lot of people say, put on your mask first, because if you don't have your mask and you can't breathe, you can't help other people. So do that for yourself and constantly remind yourself, am I giving myself nutrients? Am I keeping myself hydrated? Am I like, get your basic needs first and foremost. Like, you have a lot of pressure from external forces. However, you need to check in with yourself before you're trying to do things to satisfy other people. Because in the end, you're going to be what's left with you. Just you. Eventually, and I know it's going to get kind of dark, but eventually everybody leaves, Eventually you will be with you and yourself. And it's genuinely the best thing that you can do to look after yourself. first and foremost. For pressure, just to kind of ease them and kind of get them off your back, what I like to do is do check-ins with them. Like for me, it was my dad a lot. So he would always be like, what are you doing for this? What are you doing for this? Are you doing this? How come you did this? How come you did bad on this? It's kind of just updating them like, hey, this is where I'm at in the process. School is going great. Like, tell them before they can ask you. That's what I realized really helped me kind of get that pressure off of me, and having to deal with the anxiety of having to answer them on their terms, kind of flip the tables, take the reins into your own hands and let them know, here's where I'm at. Don't give them the chance to kind of probe you and whether judge you, whatever it is. Take it into your own hands. It helped a lot, and please, please, please take care of yourself first.
Thank you. Emily, how did you find friends at school?
I think a great thing with making connections is, especially if you don't know where to start, is looking at kind of where you're at. What are your interests? What do you enjoy? And finding people that are like-minded in that sense. Um, I think naturally it starts with where your major is. But you might not fully know if the major that you're interested in is going to be right for you. So I think, like we touched on earlier, exploring different clubs and activities, that's really helpful in trying to find like a community that you feel comfortable with. And when you're in your classes, you know, take a step forward and just ask the person next to you a question, engage in a conversation. What's been helpful is, especially in classes, asking people, hey, do you guys want to create a group chat so we can work on certain assignments together? And that might lead to, okay, maybe we can all meet for coffee at the Starbucks that's on campus. And it starts to become not less about the work, but also more about the connections and the networking that you're doing. So yes, you're completing assignments together, but there's always conversations that are going around. And don't be afraid to talk about yourself and the things that you're interested in and the things you like to do. It almost kind of feels like dating when you go into college and you're trying to meet new friends, putting yourself out there, kind of making that first conversation starter move, and just being open to possibilities. Because college is such a diverse and unique place, and you'll find all types of people from all types of walks of life. And sometimes you won't know that the person that's in your class or the person that you met in a club will be a lifelong friend and connection. So I think that's really helpful, is just knowing yourself and what you're interested in and kind of just putting all that to work.
That is really great advice. I would say most of the people that I've met, like in my classes, have been my friends. And then I'm also a commuter, so one place that I go often is the commuter lounge, and you meet a lot of other people who are also driving, also commuting to school, so you kind of get to interact with people. I know there's also a ton of events on campus. Um, I mean, we have like Midnight Madness for basketball. Um, where people will just like camp outside the basketball arena for a whole week. And then we have like commuter events and things like that. And that would be where I met most of my friends. So definitely be involved and see what types of things are interesting to you on campus. And don't be shy. You'll learn very quickly how to get out of your comfort zone, because college at first can be kind of uncomfortable, but then as you get into the swing of things, it gets a lot more comfortable. Tina, do you mind talking about what types of things you can do if you find that you're either falling behind or you need some additional help, or maybe there's something going on personally? What types of things can you do, whether it be with a professor or on campus, to help you with those types of things?
Yeah, so one way to um, find help if you're like falling behind in classes or just like in general is to talk to your professors. taking like an extension for anything, just like talk to your professors. They're probably like really understanding. You explain to them what's going on to like help you out. And like, cause professors, they just want to see you succeed, right? They're not there to just like give you F's or anything. They want to help you. And so just don't be shy. Like email them and just let them know what's going on. And another way is that campuses will always have like resources where it'd be like tutoring or like the writing center. And they also have like counselors who can help you with like other issues that you might have. And just to find someone that you can talk to. Colleges, they have so many support resources. All you need to do is just like reach out. And everyone is like just more than willing to help you. And you can always just like talk to your friends. They might be experiencing the same things, and if you just like start the conversation, just like talk to them, everything will be okay.
Can each of you, starting with Nicole, answer what advice do you have for these students who may be either going into college or thinking about going into college?
Sure thing. I think my biggest advice would be don't be scared to take risks. You're gonna make mistakes and that's okay. As long as you're able to like get back up and try again, like that's all you need. Some of you guys asked about like what happens if you like want to change majors, what happens if you want to add this, or you totally can. If like people in the panel mentioned, like you can change your major again and again. If you start something because you love it but you end up hating it, like that's okay. If you fail a class, like it's not the end of the world. It definitely feels like it at the end, like when it's happening. But you can always like try again and take the class again. You can have fun, like there's so much going on in college that it's always fun. Like even if you find like a club that like maybe you've never been interested in it before, like take the chance and just attend a meeting, see what it's about. Maybe you like it, maybe you don't. Worst thing that comes out of it is maybe like 30 minutes of a meeting that you were kind of bored in, and then you just move on with your life. Or you have an amazing time and you decide to join the club and you meet amazing people and you get to do like really fun activities and stuff. So yeah, my biggest piece of advice would be don't be afraid to take risks.
That is really great advice. Everybody should listen to Nicole. Paola, what is your best piece of advice?
I think I would say ask questions. That is something that I struggled with a lot my first year, and I had to suffer the repercussions of that because I would leave meetings with financial aid officers, with my own academic advisors, and I would not know what just happened or what I needed to do next. So ask questions until you understand what's going on, what caused it, and what you need to do next. Because this is extremely vital, especially if you're not used to working with a lot of stuff that has to do with like state or like official procedures and things like that. It will help you save a lot of heartache in the end. And along with that, write everything down. So if you have a meeting with somebody from the financial aid office, get their name, write down the day that you talk to them, and write maybe 2 to 3 bullet points, whatever you feel is necessary for you to remember what they said and have it written down. Because a lot of the times colleges can have a very long process for doing things, and you will be, depending on the school, I've noticed with bigger schools, this usually happens more, that you have to be the connection to everything. They'll send you to a bunch of different places, and you have to remember why you're going there, who sent you there, why they can't help you, and why they must help you. Like, there's a lot of moving pieces to this, and it can get very overwhelming very quickly. So as long as you write these things down, I've noticed it helped me a lot because it gave me more focus and direction of what happened, why it happened, and what I need to do now. So ask those questions. Doesn't matter if they're repetitive, doesn't matter if they seem like super obvious or dumb, like ask those questions. You have no idea how many times I would go in there asking every single little thing, and I was like, okay, what does this mean? So you said this. What does that mean for me? What do I have to do next? Why do I have to do this? Ask why. If you struggle with asking questions and you don't know where to start with asking yourself why. Well, why do I have to do that? And just keep going until you don't have an answer, and then ask those questions out loud. I've noticed that would have saved me so much pain and heartache my first year. So please, please, please ask questions and write notes.
Something to go along with that is just advocate for yourself. If your counselor isn't responding to you, be like, hey, I really need some additional help. Can you please get back to me? Whether it's your professors too, like, hey, falling behind in this class, I need some additional help. Hey, I've reached out before, and constantly follow up with everybody too, because they are there to help you, or at least they should be. And or if you get scholarships, something like that, you are ultimately the one that is going to pay for this with all of your hard work and dedication. So you have to make sure that you are being responsible for yourself and advocating for yourself, because ultimately you are the only one that can in college. Your parents, unfortunately, yes, they may be involved, or guardians, whoever, yes, they may be involved, but they're not the ones that are there on campus every single day, interacting with the professors, interacting with the counselor, anything like that. You're the one doing all of the hard work and heavy lifting. So you have to make sure that your college experience is what you want it to be, and that people are actually listening to you and taking what you say into account. And if they're not, you need to speak up and say something, because that's what college is there for. They're there to support you. They're there to help you get to where you want to go in life and your career. And they need to have those support networks there for you as you're in college. Emily, do you mind sharing what your advice is?
Yes, thank you. I would say my biggest piece of advice is take care of you. College is not a straight line. It's not going to look picture perfect. It might not be everything you imagined when you were in high school. I remember being in my senior year and knowing, okay, graduated, going to go to ASU, going to do my career in 4 years. Soon after I graduate, I'm going to get a job and everything. And life will just come and take the rug from under you and show you that what you thought was going to be this picture perfect experience in college is not, because the reality of life is that life doesn't stop. What you need to do is stop for yourself. You need to know when to take those breaks and say, hold up, I'm really stressed. Check in with yourself. Hey, when was the last time that I ate? Did I eat breakfast today? Did I eat lunch today? Was that yesterday? Where am I feeling emotionally, mentally, physically? Where are you with your classes? Are you just taking in way more than you can? And at some points, you're going to think you're like thriving. You're like, oh, yeah, I'm doing like almost 18 credits. I've got my job and I'm just like powering through. But sometimes you're kind of just like on autopilot. And sooner or later, you'll feel yourself coming down and maybe feeling like you're going to crash and feel cornered in with yourself. And it's just important to check in with yourself and be kind to you. Ask for help. Ask for help in any capacity, whether that's with your professor saying, hey, I'm incredibly overwhelmed. I have X, Y, and Z going on in my personal life. What can you do to help assist me so I can be as successful as I possibly can? That can be reaching out to a counselor, talking to your friends and family, doing whatever it is to make sure that you come first, because like I said, life is going to continue. That job is always going to be there. Those opportunities will always be there. But if you're not there, then you won't be able to fill those roles. So please take care of yourself. Know when too much is too much for you. And know that it's also okay to take breaks. Sometimes that's taking just a long weekend just to kind of decompress from everything that you've got going on. Sometimes that might mean taking an educational break. Maybe it's taking a semester off. Maybe it's taking a year off. And it's okay. What hurt me the most was I took a year off from college, and this past year I saw all of my friends that I had started high school with, and they graduated from college, and it gives you self-doubt. Will I be able to do that? Am I even good enough? Like, when when will life, make room for me? But at the end of the day, it's no, you are on your own track in life. The steps that you're taking are the steps that are meant for you. You know, Stop comparing yourself to the person next to you, ahead of you, behind you. None of that matters. You matter. So just zone in on you. If what you're doing makes you happy, if you're comfortable, regardless at the pace that you're going, that's all that matters. It's just having that awareness and knowing that life is in a straight line, but the course that you're on, that's meant for you. And no one's going to ever take that away from you.
That was really awesome. Thank you, Emily. Tina, last one up. What is your best piece of advice?
My best piece of advice is to take advantage of all the resources that your college offers. Because from what I've noticed, colleges, they get so much money through endowments or like donations, grants that, and they put all this money towards like providing these resources for you, whether it be like career services, tutoring, counseling, or like giving you funds for your club. You can take that money and just like for your club, right? You can use it to go to certain events or places or conferences, get merch for your club. Like they have so much money, just take advantage of it and like go to these events. They give out like free merch, free food. Like, come on, guys, go get that free stuff, you know?
Definitely. There is always free food on campus. It's kind of funny. Like you just have to walk around and somebody's gonna be like, "Oh, here's an Oreo" or something like that. Like it's pretty awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for joining in and sharing your college experiences so far and answering all of our questions. Um, Now it's time to move on. So now that you know about this crazy thing called college, maybe you're thinking, well, what do I need to do to get to college? Here's the answer, and it's not the full answer because there is always so much to do with college. But the first step would probably be to explore your college options. Maybe finding a school, whether that be a community college, a university, in state, out of state. There are a ton of different factors to consider when you're looking into a school. Career exploration, we touched a lot about this. Finding your major, what you're interested in. It all starts with finding what you're interested in, whether that be your junior year, senior year, all throughout high school, even when you're in college, you're still going to be finding what you're interested in. Next is college applications. Like I said, whether you're going in state or out of state, your college applications may look a little bit different. Writing essays is probably going to look a little bit different. Financial aid, whether that be the FAFSA, the CSS profile, college award letters, understanding what those mean, handling scholarships, and like I said, there are a ton more steps in the college planning process. Um, Ultimately, college is an investment in you. It offers you a ton of different opportunities. There are a lot of steps in the college planning process, and you are ultimately the only person who can get you to college. But here's how we can help. Here, I'm going to post in the chat a helpful handout that is going to help you understand what is your why. Why do you want to go to college? What motivates you? Who motivates you? What challenges you? And many more. So I'll post it in the chat now. We'll also send out a follow-up email that has this handout in it. So um, it's a very great resource to help you just really understand some of those fundamental points, like I said before, what motivates you and why do you want to go to college. In addition, we also have a program here at College Depot called GRIT, which stands for Graduating Ready, Independent, and Tenacious. It is for rising high school seniors. It is basically a more connected and direct support system to help students achieve their college aspirations. So anybody who enrolls will be assigned an advisor who will help them through all of the steps of the college planning process. So like I mentioned before, finding a school, finding what you're interested in, what you want to study, completing college applications, financial aid, the FAFSA form, If your school requires it, the CSS profile, anything like that, that's what we're here for. We do also offer virtual or in-person appointments, and if you visit the link tiny.cc/cdgrit, or if you use the QR code, you can sign up for the program or find out more about it. So hopefully we have some of you sign up soon. We also have some additional summer sessions available. So these are free programs to help you guys. As you know, today was Fundamentals of College. We will be doing Majors and Career Pathways on June 25th. So those of you who had questions about how do I find a major, or how do I choose a career, or do you stick with your major? Can I change it? Anything like that, you are more than welcome to attend that. We have one in Spanish as well. College Palooza, if there are any students who just graduated high school who will be going into their first year of college, this one's for you. Understanding college admissions, and then financial aid and scholarships. And then here is how to contact us. If you guys have any questions, we are here located at the Burton Bar Central Library, downtown Phoenix. There's our phone number, our email, and where you can find us on our website. Thank you all so much for coming. Does anybody have any questions?
There was a question in the chat earlier. Let me find it, from Carrie, about if they'd have the ability to review the slides later on. Did you want to touch more on that?
Yes, I believe Chris is recording this session, so you should have potential access to this. But like I said before, we will be sending out a follow-up email, so you guys can look forward to that soon.
I think the email will help. Thank you so much, guys.
Yeah, of course. If there are no more questions, you guys are free to go. Thank you so much for joining, and I hope it was helpful.
Have a good one.